sometimes it's not all about beautiful football. That's the problem with Arsenal. If you are going for a title, do the Mourinho. You understand? Get your one goal, pack the bus. People can criticize whatever. At the end of the day, people remember what? The trophy. And not how you played.
When it mattered most, one of the guys that we criticize a lot in our team, Nunes, came in to bang in the goals. I won't rule out the fact that we still have an issue with people not having their contract signed, and it might psychologically also affect them. I'm talking about Alexander-Arnold, Salah, and Van Dijk. The three Musketeers. And of course, yesterday the three Musketeers didn't show up.
Hello guys, welcome to our channel. My name is Dennis and I'm here with
Patrick.
Okay, so yesterday was a very interesting day of EPL matches. The title race took a very dramatic turn where our Arsenal were supposed to actually put the pressure on Liverpool so that the race becomes a bit more competitive. But there was a very, very dramatic turn of events where they couldn't meet. I hear a lot of Arsenal fans are very upset. We're going to delve into the details of the game. We're also going to look at Liverpool and their dramatic turn. I think it was actually a dramatic day because most of the games actually rose you out of your seat because you could see Liverpool almost drop points, but there was a dramatic turn of events for them. Arsenal comfortably cruising and they gave it away. Was it their doing? Was it the officiating? We are going to go into all these details and then dissect the issue. Don't forget, as usual, to also join the conversation in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and like so that we can bring you more contents like this. So, my Liverpool brother, I can see you in a good place.
Oh, I mean, I'm used to this feeling.
Hey, Charlie. I mean,
we'll be big boys. Liverpool will be big boys.
Oh, how I don't like this.
No, I mean, look. You see, and I think you should know this because you're a Chelsea fan. You've been there. If you're a title contender,
let me say this. Before you go on, be a bit gracious because I think the way you are going, no Arsenal fan is even going to continue watching this.
So I should wait for Arsenal fans to be happy before I'm happy about my team.
And that's why we're here. Yes.
Oh no, not necessarily. But all I'm trying to say is, you see, when you're a title contender,
yes, there
are some games that you would struggle with. But to prove to your fans,
yes,
to prove to management,
yes,
to prove to the board that you are in for it, when it matters most, you would have to deliver.
You show up.
And you show up, exactly. And that is exactly what Liverpool did yesterday. But that being said, I think we can look at the Arsenal game. Yesterday. It was very interesting. In a sense that, for me, when I started watching the game, after 20 minutes, I was like, oh, this is a done deal game for Arsenal.
Okay.
Because the first 20, 30 minutes looked good. I mean, as much as we were missing a lot of chances, I think most of the passes were even going wrong and all that. I didn't really see Aston Villa being so much of a threat in the few minutes of the first half of the game.
But
eventually, I realized that Aston Villa started coming into the game. And once they started getting a bit comfortable, Arsenal was a bit jittery all over the place.
So, but you see, if you go to the history of this fixture, last season, one of the teams that cost Arsenal the title was Aston Villa.
Yeah, they were.
That was Unai Emery coming back to his old team to actually stop them from winning. And he did it again, actually. I mean, I know they are not out of the race yet, but this could actually be a very significant point that they've lost in terms of chasing you for the title. So I didn't expect the game to be easy. I know that Aston Villa are not in the best of forms, but I knew that when it comes to this game, there's too many nightmares in there whereby Arsenal know what these people can do to us, and Aston Villa also know what they can do. So there was always that cat and mouse game in there whereby once the game started, if Arsenal were to have taken it away comfortably, I think it would have been like a game that Aston Villa didn't show up. But when they got their 2 goals, I was actually expecting them to at least hold on. You don't need to go for more goals. Just protect what you have because you are 2 goals up. So if you protect what you have, sometimes it's not all about beautiful football. That's the problem with Arsenal. If you are going for a title, do the Mourinho. You understand? Get your one goal, pack the bus. People can criticize whatever. At the end of the day, people remember what? The trophy and not how you played.
But I think parking the bus as well is something that sometimes we take for granted. It comes with its own technique. If you're not too familiar with that, you might struggle with that.
No, but
then again, I just feel as though that as a coach, when these times come up, you should be able to know how you set up your back wall.
Yeah, but you see, if we are talking about a team that has one of the best protection for them, one of the reasons why Arsenal has the best defense is because they have a very good DM players.
Did they have all their defenders yesterday?
No, they didn't have Saliba.
They didn't have Saliba.
But you know, the protection in front of the defensive line is very good.
Yeah.
You have your Thomas Partey, you have Declan Rice, you have Gabriel Jesus. Throw all three of them in there when you got your 3 points. Partey, Declan Rice can move the ball up. Jesus is very good at beating the press.
Yeah.
Partey is very good about. So why not do that? Did they need to go for a third or fourth goal?
I don't know, but then sometimes I just think that Arteta gets it wrong sometimes. Because in fact, yesterday the lineup they had for me wasn't bad. It was okay. And like you are rightly saying, after they got in their first 2 goals, I think they should have wrapped it up with a different strategy to end the game.
Focus on the results.
Just focus on the results.
Nobody cares about how good you are
playing.
But
I realized they kept on. You know, Aston Villa, in as much as they are not doing too well this season, Aston Villa will hurt you with an attack.
100%.
100%. If you are not too careful, they have players who can hurt you.
Yeah.
So at certain points, I realized that they were not too careful with their wings.
Yeah.
They were too excited running into it, leaving their backs very lean.
That's the thing.
And they were expecting Partey to come up with some magic. You know, I realized that a lot of Arsenal fans are not happy with position Partey played yesterday.
Because he played right back. And when you play Partey there, you take something out of his game. Because he's not a player who can actually move and give you that run behind the so it makes it very, very difficult for you to get actually the attributes of a right back. So I was expecting him to invest as much as possible.
Yeah.
But when he invests, he needs to be aware that actually this is not my. When they're under attack, he needs to go back to position.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes Arteta tries to invent too much, and it comes back to bite him most of the time because you have the players. I know that he had a couple of injuries, but I think he had players in there who he could have played in there apart from Partey. So for a team that is going for the title, I think he's making too many mistakes. You've built a very good squad. Use them to their strength. And if you've gotten your 2 goals, why do you need to go for more? Just sit back, protect what you have. They make it to become 2-1.
2-1,
But you still win.
Yeah.
People can criticize that the second half you didn't play well, but you got your results.
Yeah.
So I understand why Arsenal fans are annoyed because you see, it's the mental torture is a bit too much. Last season, you were a few points, I think 2 points from City. You get it. Bayern, if Tottenham has won that game, you would have won the trophy.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. This season too, people are expecting for you to at least go all out because City is not showing up, and you are now still playing second fiddle. So I can understand why the fans are very frustrated.
Yeah. So, but I think also that I don't know why, but I think luck was also not on their side. Because the latter part of the second half realized that they had a number of chances.
I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that.
That went quite wide.
I'm not going to take that.
They had the ball that hit the bar and all that.
Nah.
In football, at every point in time, I think luck also counts.
No, you see,
and yesterday, I believe that when they got to a certain point where they were having most of the possession, they tried a lot, and in fact, they had a goal that was disallowed because it went in through when it hit Kai Havertz's hand. So, for me, I don't think there's an excuse for us now personally, because if you say, like I said in the beginning, if you're a title contender, these games you are supposed to win them.
Let me
you don't just come in and play any kind of game and expect that by chance you win, because anybody who's going to come at anyone who's at the top 3 will play their 100% game.
Let me tell you why I'm not going to take that. I've heard Arteta say too many times that we're the better team, we deserve to win. Nobody's going to give you what you deserve. You have to take it. You understand? Every time you can't go, if Arsenal is not blaming the officiating, they are blaming the football
or the
weather. I mean, if you do that, it gets to a point where the players are going to sing to that tune.
Yeah.
Put the ball in the net. That's what we are asking. Nobody cares about the chances you missed. You understand? So if you say we're unlucky, make your own luck. You get it? Because fans are tired about all these. Excuses, we are unlucky, and it turns to excuses. You understand? The other opposition wanted to take a point, and they put the balls in the net. They were 2 goals down. They didn't look at officiating. I heard fans being complaining that the ball didn't hit Havertz's hand. That is not the point. It hit his hand. It was very clear. We've seen all kinds of
those excuses don't hold.
Exactly.
Because
just put the ball in the net, and then you don't need to defend or have to contest and officiating, because one thing about EPL is that when a referee makes it's gone. It's gone.
It's gone.
So make your own luck.
Yeah.
And then just put the ball in there that nobody can contest it. You had enough chances to put the ball. Where is your mentality? What does the players want?
So now I can confidently say that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes Arsenal has these excuses about injuries and Saka is not available, just like how he was not available yesterday. But yesterday, the ball that was played was a typical Arsenal football. In fact, yesterday for me, I didn't even see them missing Saka. They just didn't take their chances.
That's it.
And and like you're saying, the excuses are too many. Arteta was supposed to come in there and make some changes. Now, currently, like we always say, there's no difference. Arsene Wenger took them to how many Champions League? He did all that for Arsenal. Up to now, we still have Arsenal giving excuses. But the interesting thing is they are still playing their beautiful football. You remember yesterday we were watching the game, Arsenal kept on passing the ball all over.
I asked you asked me, are they ever going to penetrate the box?
Passing the ball all over. Sometimes there's a player who's also free somewhere. You don't even see him. They are passing the ball all over. And yesterday at a certain point I realized that the whole game, I don't know if Partey had forgotten that he was playing a right back. He was supposed to go back. Most of the time, Partey was up there. And the left side of the field was weak.
You see, one thing we shouldn't take for granted is that Unai Emery is a very good coach. He's been around.
He's brilliant.
And he's done a lot in the game. And he's somebody who can read the tactics of an opponent and come up with a solution. I definitely knew that in the second half, they were going to turn up. Especially being Arsenal. He's played Arteta too many times to know what they are trying to do. And with Arsenal, if you have fast attackers and you're able to break their press, they are not equipped to be able to catch up, especially if they don't have Saliba on the pitch. Gabriel is more looking to score a goal than to defend. So most of the time when they are attacking, he wants to get in there.
He's always
for the props and all. So the moment you break the first press, you have a chance. And Aston Villa used it brilliantly. They used it brilliantly, and I wasn't surprised at all. So Arteta needs to learn his lesson and know that you are trying to go for a title. What matters is the 3 points. It's not about scoring 7 goals, 8 goals. Nobody cares about that.
It's about the 3 points.
Even if you score 1 goal, keep a clean sheet. That's what you're looking for. But if you have a 2-goal advantage with an opposition who you know that they have been troublesome over the years. Last season, they were really, really troublesome for you. And you've gotten 2-goal advantage. Why keep going?
You let it sink.
I mean, why keep going?
It's quite terrible. And I don't know what you think, but a lot of people are now saying that in as much as Arsenal are still in the race, they don't look as threatening as they are supposed to be, because people are expecting that when you're right behind the number one at the top, you're supposed to give them some sort of pressure to make sure that they also fidget or panic and drop some points. But Arsenal is not given that.
I heard someone say Liverpool are literally going to moonwalk to the title.
I heard that one.
Because if you look at it, it's looking like it's no more actually a race.
But that is why I kept on saying that it might not be a race between ourselves and Arsenal. But I'm telling you, I don't know Nottingham plays today. If they win their game, those guys,
well, at least they are keeping the competition active. But you see, I've said mathematically, there's going to be a point where Arsenal is going to drop out. Because as we sit here, can anybody put hand to chest and say Arsenal is not going to drop any further points? Of course they will.
Well, I hope they do.
Because you never know which games. Because you see, when City is going for a title,
they are going for it.
You can look and say, okay, with the next fixtures, they are not going to drop any points. So if you don't have that mentality, and you're always looking for what the referee did, the color of the ball, and all these things, then obviously you are not ready to win. And you said something profound in our last conversation where you said that is Arteta, does he have a winning mentality? Because that is key. Most of the excuses he's giving I've hardly seen him criticize players for what they do on the pitch.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's necessary. You call out players so that they show up.
Yeah.
But he seems to rather blame everybody by themselves. The players, I couldn't love them more than ever. I couldn't love them better. It's not necessary. The results are not showing. And you see, I always say that if they don't win something this season, they may lose some players because how long do you need a project to be?
Saka will go.
How long do you need a project to be?
Yeah.
And secondly, there's history whereby most players who have left Arsenal have actually gone on to win things.
Yeah.
So you have to try and break that cycle. And if he keeps on like this, it's either they change him or he's going to lose the squad he's built. Because these boys will want to win something. Most of them are about to enter their prime ages and they need something to show for it.
But then, so my other question is that we have a coach.
Yeah.
That's fine. Then we have the players on the field. Now, we have some 1 or 2 experienced players in the EPL with Arsenal. Are we saying that these players are not hungry enough? You know, I've seen other Arsenal interviews and channels where people also feel that, I mean, even if Arteta is not getting it right, are these players not hungry enough to fight? You know, there are times that when you watch football, there are times that you realize that, okay, the coach's strategy might not have worked the whole 90 minutes, but the hunger of the players will make them snatch a point.
You see, one thing we take for granted is that I think when players those days sign for a Liverpool, sign for a Man United, sign for a Chelsea, and there's one place they always take them, the trophy cabinet room. It's something that they show you that this club, we win.
It is possible.
We win. If you are going to be here, be prepared to win. Yeah. You understand? So that puts something in you that this level, if I don't cut it, they replace me very quickly. But now, all these players, some way, somehow, have bought into it's a project. If we don't go this season, we'll go next season. Nobody is talking about, listen, you didn't cut it last season, you're out. Yeah. If you ask me, there's no way after how Havertz played last season, he should be leading the line for us now.
Totally. I've always said
that. For results, trying to compete.
Havertz,
he should be coming from the bench, or you even sell him and bring 2 players who can give you better results.
I really don't know what.
So it's more of the mentality. Yeah, it's not a club. I mean, they used to be a club that used to win, but for a very long time they've fallen off, and they are slightly missing that mark when it comes to being a winning club and a top 4 club. Yeah, and they need to do something drastic to get that, get beyond that line. But, and Raheem Sterling is not going to do it. Like Havertz is not going to do it. Even the Gabriel Jesus is not going to do it. You need to bring elite winners because they are close, and they need players who are going to push them off the line. Who will you look in this Arsenal team and say, "This is a leader. This is somebody who's going to hold them"?
I insist that the point I'm trying to make is that I don't know if some people used to say whether the Arsenal club is cursed, but if most of these players who find themselves in Arsenal, like you were saying, if they should find themselves in different clubs or different teams, they'll perform wonderfully. Because don't get me wrong, Arsenal has solid players.
Listen, they had this guy, Xhaka.
Yeah.
This guy was criticized badly.
Xhaka was.
And he was actually replaced by the Declan Rice and all that. He went to Liverpool and he led them to the title.
Yeah.
You understand? And you can go on and on about players who have actually left and won so many things. You understand?
So what is the problem?
Mentality.
Mentality. Is there a club?
The whole club. Coach? The whole club. It's mentality.
It's terrible.
It's the mentality.
But let's not get players.
Of course. It's the mentality. Because, you see, we are talking about strike. Arsenal has always had fantastic strikers. At some point, they had Lacazette and Aubameyang. And still, they couldn't win anything significant.
That's serious. That's squad.
Those guys were putting goals in every game, but they couldn't win anything. And now, he has built a good defense, a good midfield, and he has left the attack. And their whole attack is hanging on Odegaard and Saka.
Yeah.
How does that win a trophy?
And Martinelli comes in every now
and then. How can that win a trophy? All the teams that have gone to win the title, their 3 attackers have all chipped in very good numbers for you to win. But here's the case now: the goal seems to be hanging on Saka. Now that he's out, they are lacking. You understand? And nobody's able to put the ball in the net.
No one.
And that's going to cost them. So they are not out. I still hope that at least we can have a close competition to the end. Hopefully they don't drop more points. And then, but the fixtures are coming thick and fast, and they need to get their act together, because I don't know how long Saliba is out for. Obviously, they missed him today. And as for Saka, I think he said it's going to be a while. So he should use the transfer window to actually beef up the squad and try and push Liverpool a bit harder.
Okay, all right, sure. So I think it's okay. For me as a Liverpool fan, I mean, Arsenal should take off their problems. They're able to resolve their problems. I'm okay. I'm fine with it.
Now let's come to your team.
Yeah.
Yesterday was an interesting one. The game could have gone both ways, because I think Brentford showed up well. They actually
always show up.
They created some very good chances, but they didn't take their chances. And Liverpool really didn't cause much in attack until the last extra time that you got your goals. So what do you think attributed to that? Because usually Liverpool, you are 100% sure in the first half they're going to put at least one goal in. Yesterday, Salah was missing in the whole game, and it was quite, even Van Dijk was found wanting in some. I don't know whether it's a contrast situation that's exposing them a bit, but Salah, for instance, didn't look like his mind was in the game at all.
Yeah. So I think we've had a long run since the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
We've been able to play a lot of games and lost a few of them.
Yeah.
And both Champions League and FA, Carabao and everything. So yesterday, what I saw was a very flat game.
Yeah.
And I saw very exhausted players. You know, I think most of these players are quite tired, both physically and mentally. And of course, you know, when you are at the top of the table, mentally, you always have to make sure you are winning. Focus. It's very stressful. So yesterday, it was a very bad game for us. But I realized something. In as much as we were not getting in the goals, we were creating some chances.
Yeah.
But just that the finishing was not as accurate as expected. When it mattered most, one of the guys that we criticized a lot in our team, Nunes, came in to bang in the goals. I won't rule out the fact that we still have an issue with people not having their contract signed, and it might psychologically also affect them. I'm talking about Alexander-Arnold, Salah, and Van Dijk, the three Musketeers. And of course, yesterday the three Musketeers didn't show up, and it is something that I'm expecting the board and management to see. Watch yesterday's game and look at these three people and see how their performance went. So yesterday was a tough one, but like I said in the beginning, as a title contender, it doesn't matter how hard the game is. At the end of the day, you need to make sure that you sink in the goals and take away your point.
To be fair, I respect you for that, because obviously you are a team that's going for the title. It doesn't matter how you win. All that matters is how you put the 3 points in the book. I was actually thinking, okay, you're going to drop points so that it's a draw. And Arsenal has the opportunity to catch up. Exactly. And I think credit to Darwin Nunes. I miss all the pressure on him. People have been talking about him being sold in January and all that, so that you bring in a better striker. I think when you needed him the most, he actually showed up, and his goals were actually quite good goals, because they were. First one was scrappy. The second one, he was in the right position to put it in there. I mean, how he created space for himself. That was actually quite.
It was very impressive.
Great, exactly. So very impressive. For a guy who has not had the confidence in a long time, for him to be that composed in the box was actually quite good. You are back to winning ways, because your last 2 games you drew, and for you to come to winning ways is actually very important, because the title race is going to be interesting, because it doesn't look like anybody is running away with it. Everybody seems to be struggling here and there. There are still a couple of games to go. You are currently 7 points from Arsenal, but Nottingham Forest is in there still trying to close the gap, so that the rest of the league is still closer to you. So we are going to see how it goes. But do you think you are going to do something in this January window to help you get over the line?
I doubt. I doubt, not because we don't need it, but I doubt just because I know the kind of team owners that we have at Liverpool. And one thing that I know that Slot wouldn't take for granted is making sure that he beefs up his team with a different set of good strikers in there. Because, of course, I don't think Salah's thing, I mean, personally, will end too well. I'm sure by now we have the Saudis coming in there trying to give him something juicy to go with. So I'm sure that Slot will be having some hard discussions with the board and management of Liverpool. Because if they actually take a look at what he's done now, then if I come into the boardroom and I say that, look, this is what I've done and this is what I can actually do if you give me 1 or 2 players, I'm sure the board, being their right mind, would actually take this and do something good for him.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to chip in with yesterday's game was that I think at the right time we'll have to look at those records, because one thing that is very significant in the Liverpool game now is the substitutions that our coach makes in games. And we've realized that in most part of the games we play this season, when times are difficult, most of his substitutes who come in actually win the games, which has been very impressive. He actually brings in the people at the right time, and has actually favored us a lot. So I think kudos to the coach for that. But I still feel as though that we are lacking a little bit in our midfield. Gravenberch is doing a very good job. But sometimes I feel as though that McAllister is not delivering as we expect him to. And sometimes some of these things, I know back then when we had Henderson and Gerrard, we know how tight the midfield will be, and sometimes we don't have other players getting opportunity to just run through and all that, because I realize that because our midfield is sometimes not too tight, we have Alexander, who's not too good at falling back, struggling to go back, because there's a pass that has been able to just go through between our midfield and all that. So yesterday was tough. I think the future looks bright for Liverpool. It will be a huge disappointment not to take this title after doing all this, because mentally and physically we've actually stretched ourselves to get to where we are now. But I believe that the end goal should be us taking this trophy.
He said something that is critical, which was you think that the team seems tired. They seem to have run out of steam. And I saw that too. You see, last time we were talking, I mentioned to you that there's not much difference between how your boys play in terms of the metallic football compared to Klopp's time. Just that now there's a bit more of composure in the midfield, not to just run, if like try and press as much as they used to press. Exactly. But when it comes to moving with the ball, your counter attacks, it's still there. The boys are running a lot. And I'm hoping that they don't burn out completely before the end of the season, because everything that you've played, you are now going to face them a second time. People have now come to understand Slot's way of playing. So he's now going to face the coaches who now understand him better. And I think it's going to be more trickier for him. And I hope that he's able to get up to what is expected, because like you said, it will be very embarrassing after sitting on top all season not to carry the title. So it's curious to see how he faces that challenge that is going to come up, because like you are very right by saying that they look bent out.
They really look. And I also agree. I mean, what happened before Slot came in was that most of the players that were bought by Jurgen was to suit his style of play. And when Slot came in at first, if you observed, we were trying to hold on to the ball, play more of possession football, and not run. And our first 3-4 games with Slot was very boring. Because he was trying to play a certain game where they hold on to the ball and maybe string a lot of passes through. But Jurgen bought players that will suit his counter-attack football, that is metallic football. So we have Luiz, who always is ready to run. We have Salah, who's always ready to run. We have all these players that Alexander is supposed to be feeding them the ball. So in a way, you will still have to be playing that kind of football. I'm just looking at the kind of, because when I look at somebody like the player that we brought in from Juventus, Chiesa, with him, that metallic style of football, he doesn't
have the legs.
He doesn't have the legs for it. So I'm just looking at the kind of players that Slot will bring in to suit his style of play. I don't know if the next window is going to be the next season is going to be a different kind of play from Liverpool. But for now, the boys are tired.
I think the second part of the season is going to be telling. So that he knows what he needs to change. For me, if it's not broken, why change it? For now, I think he needs to play the way he's playing to see how or what he gets at the end of the season. But do you think it is talking about bend out, is it necessary for Liverpool to compete on all fronts? Rather, you are in all competitions, shouldn't you sort of let go of a few so that you can concentrate all your resources on probably the Champions League and the Premier League?
So I personally felt as though that we're going to let go of the FA. I say that just because of the lineup we had when we went into that game. So for me, I was thinking that one was going to go away and for us to have time to concentrate on the Champions League and the EPL. Not that those cups, no disrespect to the Carabao and the FA Cup, but then I am sure that Slot will be more interested in the EPL and the Champions League.
Okay.
And not just him, most of these players who might leave would want to, because the time we picked that trophy for the EPL was during the COVID time, which wasn't that much fun. So I know that they would want to take it this particular period.
Yeah, I've heard Salah say that.
Yeah, exactly, for the EPL and the Champions League. So I'm sure the next games we see ourselves playing the FA and the Carabao. It wouldn't be a strong lineup. In fact, if you watch the body language that we had when we played Tottenham, it didn't look like a game that we really wanted it that much. So I mean, you are right. I mean, at certain point, I used to argue with that, but I think that when you have all those games that you have to play at that same speed, pace, and all that, it's quite stressful. Yesterday, it was the first time I saw Salah run and panting because you realize that the steam was running out. So it was tough yesterday, but at the end of the day, we showed what we're in there to do.
Okay. All right, guys. So join the conversation on the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Arsenal fans, hang in there, support your team. It's still not over. Mathematically, you are still
it's over.
You are still in the race. Liverpool, I think let's see how the second part of the season goes. Thank you all for joining us. Bye-bye.
Cheers.